to the final round here in the sprint session in the Far East, which will of course be round 3 of this amazing 2026 all innovative, all new Formula One Championship, and in this brand new fashion, I guess very stylish for what will definitely be one of the coolest races of the season. Let me know how you like this great scarlet red Ferrari color. Obviously it's the only long sleeve fashion that we have over here. We will introduce to you the Japanese Grand Prix, which is nowadays obviously one of the major parts of the championship, which has seen, for example, Michael Schumacher winning that title after 21 years of drought for Scuderia Ferrari, and we definitely hope that it will be definitely broken over here this year, so that we don't have to wait that long. But of course, because Suzuka, which hosts traditionally now the Japanese Grand Prix, has been moved from pretty much the title decider into one of the first races of the season, one of the advantages is we will see beautiful cherry blossoms, and obviously it will be a very kind of a lovely sunrise to the new season, and what probably will be finally our first victory of the season as well. But of course it won't then feature the nail-biting title decider. So here in this exclusive race reaction, you can see that we have a special setup that is of course due to the amazing history that we have over here, as we once again chasing Michael Schumacher over here, because it's at this very track that he actually could have been crowned the world champion, but instead of, the engine has blown up in the second Degner turn, which goes right under that bridge, which of course is that kind of the connecting point between the upper and lower part of the Suzuka circuit. Is the only figure of 8 track that crosses actually over itself. No other track on the Formula One calendar so far has this feature, so obviously very special track. And we will be chasing some of his amazing records, especially the most pole positions at the circuit, which we can certainly get, right? Absolutely, especially in this great new fashion. So let me know how you like it. We will first talk about the, some of the Formula One news. There are plenty to tell you for this final race in the month of March. Then we will take a look at the circuit and introduce over here to you the whole format for the whole weekend, and then of course we will take a look at the drivers in the Constructors Championship, what we need to do to vault into the lead of both of these championships, and then we will take a look at why now we have so many shiny golden Grand Prix winner trophies over here, because yes, this is one of the most successful tracks, and as we are concurrently playing that great 2025 season, as we are now also in the lead of the championship, we will tell you what exactly we need to do to keep on dominating in Formula One. That's right. So over here, let's start with some of the news, shall we? So for the news, the great innovative wing of the Ferrari, the rear wing that can basically rotate and then produce, again a higher top speed, because the engines, the power units, cannot be worked on, that much. And again, the new directive is coming from the 1st of June, so it looks like sadly unfashionable silver Mercedes-Benz will have a bit of an advantage, but us scarlet red Ferraris, we are obviously breathing on their necks, and we have some of the tools to mitigate for obviously that missing top speed that we have, or let's say we are able to reach pretty much almost the same top speed, but we usually run out of the power or the juice, if you would like, the electrical power earlier than Mercedes-Benz, which is really costing us a little bit here and there, especially you could see it in China. And Suzuka does feature some of the very long turns, but the overtaking was at a premium last year, and I actually expect it to be similar, because there are lots of the S's where it will be, I think, very easy to recharge the battery, so we will have plenty in the tank to go up into 130 RR, and we should be able to hold the position into the final chicane, and then that final straight is significantly shorter, as you can see on that innovative Scuderia Ferrari Scarlet Red 3D 3-dimensional calendar, or on that original 2D calendar. So when we will be racing it with the SF1000T818 Formula One Racing Simulator, it will be interesting to see just how easy it will be to overtake here in Suzuka. So our starts are definitely one of the big advantages, and if we can shed a bit of a drag and be faster on the straights, which definitely this rear wing should be able to do, that's gonna be great. And the issue was that in China, on the Shanghai International Circuit, it was difficult to slow down the car. Lewis Hamilton had, a couple of moments, including a spin, obviously, as the rear wing was just closing down. So clearly there are some stability issues, but, that is a big news. We are innovating. We also, would like to bring a completely a new aerodynamic package with even improved active aero, obviously, for the Middle Eastern races. But the second big news, of course, and we kind of already highlighted it into the race reaction. Just before the Grand Prix, the Chinese Grand Prix, it was announced that the Bahrain Grand Prix, the round 4 of the 2026 FIA Formula One World Championship, and the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, which should host the round 5 of the 2026 FIA Formula One World Championship, have been officially cancelled. They will not be replaced, even though obviously we are recording this race introduction a little bit earlier. Something could change, but we don't expect it to change, because which other track you could go to. It would be great if we could go to Malaysia, for example, and let's say Imola, which I think both Malaysia definitely would be able. That Kuala Lumpur is a great track. We won there before, of course. They would definitely be able to hold a Formula One race, but again, we would have to see with the scheduling if actually they would have a free weekend. Same with Imola, which often hosts the World Endurance Championship, the WEC, right? So 6 hours of Imola could maybe, that could be a conflict. So I actually haven't checked it, but these races would be pretty good because, they are definitely up to the standard. Obviously, Portimao, the home of the Portuguese Grand Prix, will be joining from next year. So, they could make it onto the calendar a little bit earlier. But it will be interesting to see, due to that conflict in the Middle East, which obviously has now erupted, into more serious proportions. We have some of the airlines like the British Airways, they will not even fly to the Middle East, up until summer. So we will see, will we have now only 2 races in the Middle East, or will the Qatar Grand Prix, and obviously our second home sweet home, the home of the Ferrari world, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, will then be cancelled altogether, which is also, another possibility, leaving us only with a 20 round race. But of course, that would actually play into our favor, because the new directive for the engine, where the FIA will check the compression ratio of basically the pistons, which is gonna be stay below or up until or equal to 16:1, not maybe 18:1, which is what is rumored the Mercedes-Benz and perhaps even Red Bull or other teams are running at the moment, when the engine is running and when the engine is up to the hot operating temperature. So we definitely expect the races to be absolutely spectacular. Obviously Monaco, I think Charles Leclerc is also in favorite there. That's the first race in June, but ever since then, as you can see on the calendars, there are then 16 more races after Monaco as they are scheduled. Could be 14 less, and that gives us a great opportunity to obviously fight for the World Championship. So yeah, we are definitely in the fight. So these are the 2 big news. So after this race, the next we will still do the race introductions. We will still play it, because obviously the F125 Championship does feature these races, and we will definitely be challenging for these. So actually, in terms of the entertainment from the Sunshine Productions of Jan the Small Sun Champion, you won't miss actually anything. But yeah, we will still have the race reactions, but obviously that will be mostly to our own races. So we will see. We will keep you updated with that, but we will definitely still do the race introduction for both races, and I think we should still keep the race reaction. Let me know what you think. So these are the 2 big news, and yeah, now let's take a look at the Suzuka International Racing Course, and again, how successful as Scuderia Ferrari we were over here, as we are obviously chasing the first victory in over a year. So let me turn around the Scuderia Red Retina iMac over here, and I think you will be able to see it nice and clear. So look at the Japan, the land of the rising sun. So here we can see the championship, right? That you can see on the calendars as well, and already completed Australian and Chinese Grand Prix. So now we are going to go to the Japanese Grand Prix, and here is that famous figure of 8-track Suzuka, right? So let me introduce this great, magnificent circuit that we've pretty much always won, unless we had any technical issues over here. So you will be coming out of the chicane. This is the start-finish straight, where you also have the pits, and it's seen some memorable moments, like Michael Schumacher, for example, hitting the wheel, celebrating in 2000, right, when he finally has defeated the McLarens and finally brought the title back to the Maranello. So we hope more of the same. We hope in a turn 1 you won't have a big crashes like Prost and Senna, for example. It's very important. It's going to be interesting how the 2026 cars will handle this section of the track. track, but yeah, normally you pretty much will be able to take that turn 1 flat out, and then go really quickly down the gears. We will introduce it in a hot lap very, very shortly. Obviously you will see this race introduction for the free practice 1, hot lap for the free practice 2, so just in a couple of hours. It is important to get a really good exit, right the curb 4th, 5th gear, and then you go through the assist probably at the 7th gear, but now with the battery 6th, 5th gear will be preferable as you wind your way through, and maybe not even any braking will be necessary into the final as the turn 6, and then obviously you can carry lots of the speed up the hill, and I think here it will be a great opportunity to pretty much fully charge your battery. You gotta be very, very careful when you enter the dead near corners over here, very quick 90-degree corners, but again, if you want to do some recharging, it is possible to take it again 80-90% of the throttle. The exit is really critical. This is where you can find the most time, and hopefully our engine won't explode again, or just like Michael Schumacher did at this very spot right underneath the track, right, as you have that tunnel going underneath the track. Here you heading down to the hairpin. Obviously do not have any Japanese driver this year, but that's where they used to be very strong, so yeah, this is where we should be absolutely mega. And then it will be important again to be light on the traction, because the car will want to be dancing, especially the prancing horse in the year of that fire horse. And then over here this is actually all flat out, and you will then be able to hit a spoon corner where I think we can carry lots of speed. And because even for example with the ground effect cars, this wasn't always a full throttle corner, both of them, so again great chance to recharge the battery and have absolutely stonking exit over here, heading down to this turn, the 130R, which is what the Ayrton Senna, one of the legends in Formula One, described as one of his favorite, most challenging corners. Now it's an easy flat out king, and you can have the top speed over here highlighted in this kind of the blue kind of earthquake like round shape. And then yeah, you go down to the chicane. It's important to ride the curbs, because you can gain some time. Again, be a little bit careful, because you will be going downhill. So the car might be a bit unstable. Also, when you start, the car might be rolling down, so be careful so it doesn't roll down and you don't have a false start. But for us, the false starts won't be an issue, because I'm sure it will be 1 and 2, oh yay! And that's simply down to the fact that you can see that it will be a big run out over here. So hopefully we can qualify on pole position, or for example, in the first 2 rows. And then I'm pretty sure, if we can have a Ferrari 1-2, this will be the key to the victory. Andrea Antonelli, the youngest, pole sitter and the second youngest Formula One winner, actually holds the lap record over here. So who knows? There might be a big fight between the Mercedes drivers. Finally, we will do 53 laps together, right over the distance of about 307 kilometers per hour. And yes, the track obviously held its first GP in 1987 when I was born. And you can see over here, just how it looks like, obviously, the land of the rising sun. And this is how Scuderia Ferrari, we've coped over here. So you can see that we won 7 times over here. And obviously, with Michael Schumacher over here, we had, amazing, 5 victories, 10 pole positions, and 6, by Michael Schumacher. So we will be chasing, obviously, his great records over here. We really cannot wait, to see replicate his exploits from 97, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2004. We already should have had the 5 wins, so definitely a lot is at stake. 7 fastest laps and 25 podiums that will certainly be extended, as we expect at least a double podium, and definitely 8 win here for Scuderia Ferrari. So these would be the statistics for us, how well we've done. It's a happy hunting ground. Obviously the first Japanese Grand Prix was run over here, in terrible conditions at Mount Fuji, pretty much underneath it, when Niki Lauda lost that title for Scuderia Ferrari because he was just too afraid to go to James Hunt. So lots of the history for Scuderia Ferrari, for example, here in Japan at the Suzuka Circuit. So who will be our main competitor? So let's take a look at the 2026 Drivers' Championship. So we can see George Russell leading with 51 points, Andrea Antonelli being right behind with 47 points. And again, if Antonelli can find some speed, he could challenge George. For us, the first place driver over here, 3rd place, Charles Leclerc, 34 points, 17 points behind Russell. We do know that Mercedes engines, they do suffer from reliability. Hopefully we won't suffer from the reliability over here, so fingers crossed for that. But you know, if any of the Mercedes drivers has a problem, then we should be able to isolate the threat from the other Benzes, especially if we will be 1 and 2, no matter what happens in qualifying, but especially heading down into S's, you know, we should be able to finally beat Mercedes fair and square. And Lewis Hamilton with 33 points is right up there, you know, basically only 18 points behind Russell, so who knows what can happen. You know, double DNF by Mercedes, and we are leading the table with both drivers, of course, which would be absolutely amazing. And then, you know, the 5th place, big surprise, Oliver Behrman Haas on 17 points. 6 is then Lando Norris, the reigning world champion for McLaren, 15 points. Can they start the race? And if they do, we hope they won't get into the fight between the Silver Arrows and Scarlet Red Ferraris. And then we have over here, Pierre Gasly Alpine. He must be overjoyed with his position, 9 points at the moment. 8 is then Max Verstappen, Red Bull Racing, 8 points. Look how mighty have fallen. 9 is then Liam Lawson, Racing 8 points. This was the first race that he got demoted from Red Bull to Racing Points, and the fact that he equaled Verstappen in the first are effectively 2 Grand Prix and 1 sprint is absolutely a stunning return to form. Then we have a 10th over here, Arvid Lindbergh for Racing Bull, 6 points, and 11th is then Isaac Hajar, Red Bull Racing, 4 points. So you can see, you know, the Red Bull and their sister team Racing Bulls right on equal points. So it's so satisfying to see. Then we have 12th, Oscar Piastri, McLaren, only 3 points. Will he start his first Grand Prix? I guess place your bets. 14 we then have 13 we then have Carlos Sainz for Williams with 2 points, and then we have 14, which is Gabriel Bortoleto, Audi, 2 points. And 15, Franco Colapinto, Alpine, 1 point. And still to get off the mark, 16, Esteban Ocon has 0 points. 17, Nico Hülkenberg, Audi, 0 points. 18, Alexander Albon, Williams, 0 points. 19, we have Valtteri Bottas, Cadillac, 0 points. 20, Sergio Perez, Cadillac, 0 points. Cadillac absolutely dominating. 21st, Fernando Alonso, Aston Martin, 0 points. And 22nd, Lance Stroll, Aston Martin, 0 points. So yeah, a lot to play for all of the teams. But for us, you know, the target is very clear. Now you can already see the big points gap basically to Behrman, who could become a future Ferrari driver. But you know, Antonelli being Italian, he definitely has a chance too. So over here, let's take a look at the Constructors Championship for the 2026 FIA Formula One season. And Mercedes almost 100 points, 98 points, leading us as Scuderia Ferrari. We are on 67 points. So here, you know, you can get for a victory and for the second place, of course, you can get 43 points. So yeah, probably, you know, both Mercedes drivers, you know, would have to suffer from some of the issues, you know, but definitely we want to be right on their tails. You know, the goal over here is to win the race, to beat them, you know, and then obviously when we go to the Miami Sprint, that's where we will be then challenging back for the lead of the championship, because we do not have round 4 and round 5. Bahrain and Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Reigning champions McLaren are lucky to be third on 18 points, because Haas is fourth, 17 points, powered by Scuderia Ferrari. Look what a great job they are doing. Fifth, then Red Bull Racing, courtesy of obviously Verstappen's, I believe, 6th place in Australia, 12 points, and then you have over there 6 Racing Bulls on 12 points, 7 Alpine and 10 points, 8 Audi 2 points, 9 Williams 1 point, and without the points still 10 Cadillac 0 points. They almost score points, finishing 13 in only their second proper Grand Prix is a great achievement for Cadillac. 11 then Aston Martin on 0 points. So a lot to play for already, and yeah, we are absolutely loving the season, and I'm sure, you know, with the overtaking boost, you know, we will be able you know, to challenge and win over here, especially if that rear wing can be effective, the new innovative rear wing can be effective and doesn't cause stability problems, you know, then I think we will have Mercedes beaten by the end of March. So that was the Constructors Championship. This is how the Drivers Championship looks like, and of course, you know, over here we will be heading down to Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. So I'm sure you guys are very, very excited. You know, me too. It's a lot of fun, and again, you know, not only the fastest but also the smartest drivers now come out on top. And with regards to me, Jan Smalik champion, so I've already reclaimed the lead of the championship with a brilliant, well executed victory in China. So over here we will be chasing our 5th victory. Obviously, we won in 2010. All right, we also won in 2016, in 2017, and in 2023. The engine sadly blew up, which of course means that in 2024, we scored that 4th victory. Otherwise, we would have the 5th, already. And let's see. Definitely, stay tuned. I'm also, chasing my 6th pole position. So I've always qualified on the pole position here, just like in Hungary, surprisingly, just like in Abu Dhabi, and that could be our 72nd pole position. Of course, our 61st race victory, and we chasing our 62nd fastest lap, with the 73rd podium. So definitely stay tuned. We cannot wait over here. We also will obviously will chase the 4th fastest lap, but it's especially equaling Michael Schumacher's record of 5 wins over here, and of course, the 6 pole positions. It would be such a joy to achieve it pretty much, 20 years after his final season for Scuderia Ferrari. So everybody stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this very exclusive race introduction to the round 3 of course, this wonderful, super exciting 2026 FIA Formula One World Championship. And now, all I can say is, in this brand new version, I'm ready to put on some winning golden medals and lift some shiny golden trophies as we chasing that elusive Formula One World Championship. All I can say is that we love racing,